The purpose of this webinar is to go over some of the changes that have occurred on the DLC website that I'm sure you all have noticed, and go through how to use the new QPL search tool and database. But before we get started, I wanted to go over a few of the guiding principles that we took into account as we launched our new website at the end of last year. First and foremost, we wanted to create easy access to all DLC information for all of our stakeholders and audiences. We wanted to address performance issues that people were having with our old search tool. We also wanted to update the design of the DLC to align with a more consistent organizational strategy. And we also wanted to facilitate a process for a phase 2 phase of the website so that we can incorporate feedback from all of our stakeholders and the lessons we're learning from this first stage of the transition to continue to improve the search tool for all of you. So we definitely welcome your feedback on how the website is working for you so that we continue to improve going forward. I will go through the agenda for today's webinar. I'm going to do a quick introduction to the new website and where some of the information now lives. Then we'll walk through how to create and use accounts through the new website. Then we'll move into a walkthrough of the new search tool in QPL. And then we'll have a live demo where Lisa will be running through a few searches on the QPL so that you can see what it looks like in real time. And then we will have a session for questions at the end of the webinar. Quick note about the question session. We will save all questions until the end of the webinar after the search tool demo. Because we have so many people attending, we may not be able to get through all the questions we receive at this time. So if we are not able to address your specific question today, we will definitely follow up by email following the webinar. If you have a question during the walkthrough, you can please send it through the question pane, and we will do our best to address it during the question session at the end. And like I said, if we don't have time to address your question during the webinar, we will follow up with you and make sure that all of your concerns are addressed. Okay, so we'll start off with a quick introduction to the new DLC website. Like I said, we wanted to create an easy avenue for all of our stakeholders to access the information that they need from the DLC. As you know, we disseminate a lot of information to a lot of different audiences, so our #1 goal is to make this information easy to understand and access for as many people as possible. So with that, where does information live now on the website? I wanted to highlight a few places where you'll be able to find information hopefully in an easier way than on the old website. First and foremost, with our DLC news and updates, this section is now easily accessible on our homepage. If you scroll down from the main screen, there is a DLC news and events section where you can see any new updates from the DLC. And this news archive is also available using the top menu of the DLC website in the News and Events tab. We've also updated where we post our DLC webinars. That's right below the news section on the homepage of our website. You'll be able to see which webinars have been completed and are available to download for you to review, and which webinars are upcoming and available for registration. So you will see this webinar posted on the webinar section of our homepage after we finish today. I also wanted to highlight a couple of changes in the solid state lighting section of our website, mostly having to do with the terminology that we're using. One thing to note is that what we used to call primary use designations portion of the technical requirements has now been changed to product eligibility, which we think is a little bit clearer about what that section is. So that's where you'll find what types of products we qualify on the SSL QPL. On the solid state lighting page, what we call technical requirements table now just includes the version number of the requirements. So under technical requirements v4.1, which is the current version of the requirements, that's where you can find all of the technical information related to qualifying your products. And then probably the biggest change is what used to be policies is now called testing and reporting requirements, and those are for retrofit kits, linear replacement lamps, screw-based replacements for HID lamps, and for pin-based replacement lamps for CSLs. Those are now under the testing and reporting requirements section of the solid state lighting section of the website. I also wanted to call your attention to our improved DLC policy development section of the website. You can access this under the solid state lighting menu at the top of the homepage. And here you'll be able to click through to all of our current policy development efforts and see explanations and materials related to all of those. And this will be continuously updated as DLC disseminates new policies and specifications. And then you can also, like I was describing before, view proposals for policies that the DLC has as drafts, and you can also use this page to submit comments on those proposals. Okay, with that, I'm going to move into an explanation of how to use DLC accounts through the new website. An important thing to note is at this time, DLC accounts on the new website are only used for downloading the QPL and saving QPL searches. So if you'd like to do either of these things on the new website, you will need to create an account. You can access your new DLC accounts at www.designlights.org/myaccount, and this is what that page looks like right here. So there are two ways that you might be accessing your account through the new website. The first is if you had an account through our old website, and many of you have probably already gone through this process, an account has automatically been created for you with the email address that was associated with your old DLC account. So to access that account, you would use this login with existing account screen here. And the way you would access a password to that automatically created account would be to go to the Forgot Password section of that Login with Existing Account section on the My Account page. And you would just enter the email address that was associated with your old DLC account. And then click Forgot Password. It would send you an email, and then you'll be able to reset your password and then log in to your new account on that same My Account page with the password that you just reset. If you didn't have an account through the old website, you can create an account on the same page here, www.designlights.org/myaccount, and you would use the menu titled Sign Up and Request Approval. All you have to do is enter some brief information, your email address, and your password, and you will immediately gain access to your new account through the new website, where you can then download QPL searches and save your searches as well. I wanted to clarify that to submit QPL applications, we are still using the old DLC system. So if you are needing to access any of your applications or submit new ones, you will still need to log in with your old DLC account. And you can access this account at that same page, designlights.org/myaccount. There's a box called Access and Submit QPL Applications, and if you click that green button there, it will take you to the old application portal. You should recognize the login screen there. And you can use the exact same old DLC credentials that you had before to log in, and everything about that application portal you can see here will be exactly the same. The process hasn't changed. You can also access this old application portal directly by going to apps.designlights.org. It'll take you to this same old DLC login screen for the time being, and you'll use your same credentials that you always did to manage your applications. So I know that this is a bit confusing. We apologize for any inconvenience this is causing while we are transitioning our application system as well. So if you have questions about submitting any applications, you can email info@designlights.org and we will help you out. Okay, at this point I am going to hand it over to Liesl to do our search tool walkthrough. So just give me one moment and I will get that going.
Thank you, Andrea. I'm just going to take a second to get, there we go. So you should be able to see my screen now. So I'm going to walk through the search tool itself, like all the different features and areas of the search tool, and then I'll go through and do a demo of various different types of searches. So one of the things that we tried to do with this was to make it easier to see all the different, or make it easier to search from pretty much any place on the website. So you'll see this search bar available at pretty much every single page at the header So you can go in and type in a brand, a model number, and start your search from this point at almost any page. And you can see here from the Qualification Requirements page, if you wanted to search for a particular model, you just start typing it in, and that will take you to the search page. It's at every web page header. And then, of course, on the search page itself. So in this box, you can start to type. This is a keyword search, so you can start to type a model number. You can type a product ID if you have it. And just a note about product IDs. Those are the unique qualifier number that is assigned to each line item on the DLC list. So every product has a unique identifier that is for that specific product. So if you have that product number, that's the easiest way to isolate down to a single product. If you don't happen to have it, but you have the manufacturer and the model number, you can certainly go in and search that way. You can enter manufacturer in this box, but we do have a pull down, a special selection tool on the that I'll get to in a second to narrow your selection to certain manufacturers. So if you're looking for a certain brand, for example, if you have a manufacturer, but the product that you're purchasing is under a certain brand, this is where you would want to type that brand name, because we don't have a place to filter results by brand. So that would need to be searched in here. If you're looking for a group of products by brand name, that would be where you'd want to enter it. And a note, when you're typing into the search bar, in order to make the most of the keyword search, you want to make sure that you leave out any dashes or slashes and use a space instead. That will give you the best results. The way that the system works, and sometimes the way that model numbers are listed on a spec sheet, might be different from how they're listed in this search tool. So if you can leave out, just avoid using dashes or slashes in a model number and just put a space, you'll get better results. So you can filter the results that you get as well. So we put all of these different filters on the left-hand side. We tried to organize them in a way that would be easy to use. You can see here, you can filter by listing status, so that if you wanted to see a product that was listed, only listed products, it defaults to showing listed products. If you needed to see products that had been delisted for some reason, you would just click on the Show Delisted Products, and that would show you only products that are no longer qualified that are delisted, because those don't go away. We do keep a record, and that is available, but you would need to select Show Delisted Products. Or you can select Show All Products, and that would show both delisted and listed products, and that list is pretty long. So the other filters that you have, you can filter by manufacturer, you can filter by classification, whether it's standard or premium. You can filter by category, primary use type, technical requirements, version, the tested criteria, reported criteria, dimming criteria, and whether or not it has integral controls. So I will go through each of those and show you how each of those work as well through the live demo and a little bit further down in this presentation. But all those filters are on the left-hand side. So for the manufacturer filter, we have this, we call this a flyout menu. When you click on this little yellow arrow, this is a flyout menu here. It will open up, and it comes up with nothing listed. It'll have this search bar, and you can start typing the name of the manufacturer, and it will populate anything that has the characters that you've typed into this box. So in order to, so then if you selected, if you decided that this is the one, I'm only interested in this manufacturer, you click on that. It will add it over here. You'll see it appear right underneath the manufacturer. And if you want to select an additional manufacturer, maybe you want to compare two products or two manufacturers' products or something, then you can start, you just go back to this box and add another manufacturer. Start typing here, select another manufacturer, and then that one will show up here as well. For categories, the way that we've organized this is you can select the category, and then this flyout menu you pop out the flyout menu here. You can select a specific category. In this case, the horizontally mounted lamps under 4-pin base CFL replacement lamps has been selected, and it will automatically start to populate. So these are the categories, these are the general use types, and then it'll start to populate these primary use designations automatically. So you can go in and deselect them if there's things in here that you don't want, but it does automatically sort and show you everything that falls under each of these category headers. For primary use type filters, it's a very similar. You've got the flyout menu. You can go over here and you can type, if you're just looking for retrofit products, you can refine by retrofit, and it will start to show you You can notice here it doesn't show anything under indoor luminaires because there's not going to be a retrofit. That's not a retrofit category. Only under indoor retrofit kits. There are retrofit kits under linear replacement lamps. So the types that actually have retrofit kits are the ones that will start to populate here for you to be able to select. The tested and reported data filters work a little bit differently. Rather than have a flyout menu, we have these filter bars. So you're able to refine your results. And in all of these, you can select, these are available for both tested criteria as well as reported criteria. So if you're looking for a particular product, maybe you want something that's 1,000 lumens exactly. You can go to light output and you can click here into the box. If you have a specific one, you can type in your start point and your end point, and this will automatically adjust. It will also adjust everything around it. So if you're looking for something that's 1,000 lumens, it will adjust to show you products that are only 1,000 lumens or whatever your range is that you put in here. And it will also adjust the wattages, the available efficacies for products that are 1,000 lumens, as well as any other factors that would get adjusted. So that happens automatically. If you type something in and you want to refresh, go back to the original endpoint. In this case, it looks like they typed in 500, and they want to go back to the original endpoint. You just click on the little blue refresh button, and that will bring this filter back to its original start point. Like I said, all of these adjust based on the criteria that you've entered in one of the other filter areas. To clear filters, and that means any filter that's on the left-hand side, there's a button right at the top that says clear all filters. You just click on that. That gets rid of all of the filters that you've used so far. And you'll see this number refresh with, if clear all filters comes up, this should refresh back to just listed products and have the full list, the list number on here. We'll get to customizing view in a second, but if you have customized the view, it doesn't change the view that you've changed to address whatever you're looking at under this, but it will just clear out filters for the searches that you've done so far. I mentioned search results. This will change and this will refresh at the top as you start to type into the search box or start using a filter. This number will adjust based on basically what you're filtering here, and it updates to reflect the number of results. So one of the things that we did change, I think people who are used to using the old website we're used to looking at the tile view, and that's a very convenient way to look at a lot of information on a single product. But if you were interested in looking at multiple products or groups of products at a time, it becomes a little more difficult to be able to look from one product to the next tile. It's a little harder to look at. So we created a list view as well. So you can look at a group of products, as many as I think 100 per page, but you can look at them grouped into a list. And this is really handy when you use it with the customized view, and I'll show that in the slide in a second, and I'll demonstrate how that can be used. To be able to compare groups of products or to be able to see a lot of information about a group of products as opposed to a lot of information about a single product. So in this case, list view versus tile view, it's really easy to toggle back and forth between the views. You can click this button up at the top. It'll say display as tiles, or I think it says resume. And down here, if you want to get into the tile for any given product within a list, you just click show and it will pop out the tile for this product. So this is a little closer look at the tile view. We've got the model number right at the top. That was the information that we tend to have people looking for the most. That's the first piece of information they're looking for. We list the manufacturer, brand, technical requirements version, the date that it was qualified, the product ID, that's that unique identifier, and then some of the categorization information. This will fall in here. We also have the test data if it's a parent product, as well as family data if it's for child products that are associated with this. If there are zonal lumen requirements for a product and that information is published, that would be on this tab here. So again, it's just a closer look at the tile view. And this one you can see is a parent product. It's green. In the new system, parent products are green and child products are yellow. You can see how all the information displays here. If you want to see the data associated with this family of products, you can just click on that. And then the same with a child product, you can just click on the family data to be able to see the parent product information in here. So you can see that they're either the yellow or the green. So Customized View is a really nice tool. It's a nice feature to be able to take the results that you've already searched for and organize them in a way that's most useful for you. We have certain default fields that will automatically show up, but you can change those to what you like to see. If you have something in particular that you're looking for, if you're looking for a group of products or a specific manufacturer or a wattage, anything in particular that you want to be able to display, you can change that. And all you're going to do is click on the little yellow button at Customize View, select what you want to see on that view, and then you can deselect those also by just clicking it again to deselect them. You can also go to Show More, and it will open up and show you all of the fields that you can add to your customized view. You can change the number of results that you view per page. I think it automatically defaults to 10 because that's an easier number, and 10 tiles can be a lot of information to scroll down through. But you can change this to be 10 to 100 that you can view per page. And we'll look at that a little bit when we get into the demo. Another handy feature is being able to sort the results. So you can sort oldest to newest on the date qualified. You can select, based on the information that you have selected, you can organize all this information just by clicking the Sort Results. These are the things that you can sort by at this point. And then there's a shortcut if you want to be able to reverse the order that you're searching in. So if you want to reverse from ascending to descending, you can just click these arrows, and it will organize that information for you, sort it very quickly. So there is a Compare Products feature as well. So if you want to be able to compare multiple products, you can do it by selecting them. When you have it in list view, there's the circles here that you can just select in order to select if you have only 2 out of 100 products that you're interested in looking at, 2 that are similar or that you need to compare, or you're trying to narrow down. You can easily select those. You can also select them by clicking the arrows in the right-hand corner of the tile to be able to add them to be able to be viewed. And when you're ready to look at the ones that you have selected, you just click on Compare Selections at the top of the page, and that will show you a slightly different view. And that shows you, and depending on how you've decided to have those organized, you can, again, customize that view. And you can add fields to this as well. So if you have a customized view and you want to look at other fields, maybe in here it's showing reported wattage, maybe you wanted to see the lumen output. That's something that you can add in customized view. And then when you go to view and compare results, that will show up here, and you can compare light output. For downloading, this works a little differently than it did with the old site. I do try to tell people to log in. When you go to the site, if you're going to do searches and you're pretty sure you're going to want to download a search, to log in as soon as you get to the site. So we'll walk through that a little bit when we get to the demo. But it does help when you're ready to download something so that you don't have to go and log in and then do your search again. If you haven't logged in, you'll be prompted at the top before you can download. You won't be able to download. There won't be a button that says download until you've logged in. So in this case, it's been this person is logged in, and you have a few more options. So instead of having the login, now you've got a Save This Search button as well as a Download Results button. And those come in once you've logged in. If you want to be able to download the results, you can actually download. We got this question quite a bit since we've launched. What if I just want to download the whole list? You can do that. That's absolutely fine. Very simple to do. You would just go from the point where you're showing all listed products. It'll show the search results up here with all of the products on it before you've applied any filters at all. Click Download Results, and then you get a note that says that your download will be you'll be notified when your download is ready. You get an email within 5 to 20 minutes, depending on the size of the download. So, for example, if you wanted to download all products on the list and all delisted products, everything on the list, that's going to take a lot longer than just a shorter, smaller search to be able to run that report and then get the link emailed to you. If you'd like to be able to save a search criteria, if you have a specific group, maybe you're tracking or you have certain products that you want to be able to go back to, a group of products that you want to be able to search for again in the same way, maybe monthly you might want to perform a search to see if the performance data has changed or if you're doing some analysis. So if you want to save your search, you again need to be logged in, and you'll be prompted at the top before that Save Searches button will appear. So once you've logged in and once you've performed a search, you can do save the search, and the criteria will be saved and accessible through your DLC account. So you'll be able to go to My Account and be able to look at what searches you've saved in the past. So this is what that screen looks like, the saved searches in your account. You can click on Saved Searches, and then you can see what you did search for. So here, they haven't named the search. I'm not sure if you want to be able to name it. Once you'll be prompted to have a name for the search. So when we did this one, we were searching for premium wall wash luminaires. So it's the same search, but with the name you can tell what it is. And if you're doing multiple searches that you want to be able to save and have access to in the future, name it with something that makes sense to you. So to be able to go and do that search again, you can just click on the Resume button, and that will take you back to the search. In order to be able to link to a saved search, if you need to share that with someone, you can go to the hyperlink at the top and just right-click and copy that into an email. So that URL needs to be copied into whatever document for sharing purposes. Okay, so let me, do this. Okay, so now we should be looking at the website. So this is the main page of the website, and like I mentioned before, you can type in a search right from here. In this case, I typed in a product ID. I think what we want to do first is I'm going to want to log in so that if I want to save a search or download a search, I can do that. Oops, let's do. No, that's not. Sorry. I wanted to be able to demo the sign in, where you sign in. Maybe it doesn't want me to do it. There we go. Okay, so from here, this takes you to your login screen. So we're going to go back to the QPL. This is the solid state lighting search page. If we go back to the main page, I just wanted to show really quickly. Andrea mentioned this before, but I wanted to show you how to find the news items. Those are down at the bottom here. You can see any news and events that Andrea talked about before will show up here. There was a new self-certification statement required that was added. You can see when the items were added. And as you get down here, there's a section for webinars. So it's just a matter of scrolling down from the home page, scrolling down to find the information. And you can see here is the website walkthrough webinar that we were referencing earlier. And there are other ones that occurred earlier this year or last year. Those are archived, and you can take a look at those webinars at your leisure. So let's go to search the QPL. Okay, and you can see it's thinking for a second here, and then it will show you all of the results. So right now, at this moment, listed products only, it's defaulted to that. There's 281,108 listed products right now. If we click on delisted products, it's going to show you only the products that don't have a current listing. It has to think about it for a second. There we go. So 42,508. So there are situations where either a manufacturer or one of our utility efficiency program members is interested in seeing a delisted product or finding information about a product. That's how they would find it. So I'm going to click clear all filters again so that we're just showing listed products, and it'll show the full list here, and then we can start with a couple of searches. So I mentioned before that one of the easiest ways to pinpoint that search is with a product ID. So that's that unique identifier. So I'm just going to type in one here, and then I can show you different ways to search for the same product. And you can see it's starting to think about this search. It's starting to sort and filter that list down to find products that have this unique identifier. This is where you could type a model number in this space as well, and it's searching through all of those 281 search results right now to be able to get to just this one item. And we might have a higher volume on the website today or a slow internet connection. Okay, so you can see here it shows up with one result for this specific product with this specific product ID number. So it took, I think, a little bit longer to filter down to a single product because it wasn't really going through a filtering process as much as finding this item. And you can see that the tile shows up. It's got all the information from the manufacturer, the results updated, and it's showing the tile view for this specific product. Another way that you can do this, again, I'm going to clear all filters, and we'll go through a model number search. So again, I'm going to leave out any dashes or slashes, and it's starting to think about, it's filtering down the list to get to these results. Okay, so in this case, I didn't type in all of the model number. I typed in most of it, and we got down to 4 results for these products, and it looks like it's a parent and some child products, and you can see how the child product data shows up on here. I'm just going to show you quickly how the family data, if you click on family data, it will show you for that product, this particular product here, these are the parents for that product, and you can see what the reported data and tested data for those parents are as well. Tested data, you won't see a tab for tested data on child products because those would use rated or reported data. So this reported data would be for this product here. And back up to the top just to show you the difference, you can see there's a lot more information on the parent product because we actually have the test data for that as opposed to the reported data. So you can still look at the reported data just like you could on the other system. But you also have a tab for reporting zonal lumens, spacing criteria, and here the family data again shows up in yellow, and that will have the child products on there. And you can look at the reported data for child products that are associated with this particular parent product. And that shows up with the reported data for that child product. So using this, actually we'll do a bigger search. Let's get rid of some of these so we have more products. Again, as soon as you start to change something in the keyword search, it's going to start thinking about and bringing in all results for those. So now we've got 25 to work with. We'll start with that. So let's look at it as a list. So this information, then you can look here. You've got all the information pretty easy to look at on this screen. want to demonstrate a little bit about the, how to customize a view. I kind of built that up. It's an interesting, it's a nice way to sort this information to be able to look at it the way you want to. I just clicked the little arrow. So these are the defaults that are already listed in the list view. And maybe I'd like to see what maybe you can open up more if you want to look at more items. Maybe reported efficacy. I might not need the actual brand name. We can select reported wattage, and let's compare, where's color temperature? There, reported color temperature. So now we've got those items, and that will adjust our view. So when you come back here, you can see that those fields have been added. So now I've got the efficacy, I've got the wattages are showing up, and the CCT. And there's actually more information to the right. I've got my screen set a little bit large, but you can scroll to the right to be able to see the other information that's there. So in this case, it's a primary use category. But if you needed to compare these, if you wanted to look at two products that were similar but maybe have different color temperatures, these all seem to have the same wattage. They're probably very closely related products, just different color versions. Then you could, maybe you need to get more information about one. So you can click on Show. And again, that's going to pop out the tile for that product. So I've already scrolled over here. So let me scroll back. Again, my screen's a little bit, I've got everything zoomed up a little bit. So you can look at the tile for just that product. And when you're ready to go back to your list, you can hide that. And if you want to look at all of the tiles for this group of products, you can click Display Tiles, and it will take you back, and you can roll through these tiles to look at all of the information for these products. So let's, results per page. So this shows 10 per page, which is on tile view. It's a lot to look at, but let's switch it back to list view and then go results per page. And maybe you want to look at 20 or even 25, then you'd be able to scroll through the whole list of products. Okay, so now we can scroll through a longer list of products, and if you were looking for certain differences, maybe the difference in wattage, you can easily see that next to each other. So you can easily compare those. Okay, so it's just the comparing, sorting. If you wanted to sort them by reverse the order, this should sort your results to just show you in the reverse order. So it just organizes the information differently. So the 19 watts were up at the top before. Now they're starting at the highest wattage and going down. So it's just another way to be able to see that. So I'm going to show you quickly. I want to save this search. I don't know. We'll just call it 2 by 2. We'll save that. So that search has been saved. So those 25, or the search criteria that we used, which is this keyword search, is saved. If I want to go back into my account and go to saved searches, it should appear in the saved searches now. Yep, there's 2 by 2 added today. This is the keyword search that's showing me how many results. Well, it's showing me 0 results right now, but it just updated to 25. So it can run that immediately again. So if we click on resume, it'll take us back to the search page. It's going to run that search again fresh. So if you do the same search in a month from now and they've added a number of products, it will refresh and it'll show all of the products that are associated with that same search criteria that you used. If you want to download the results, maybe you want to be able to print this out, you can download the results, or if you needed to be able to, if it's a bigger list and you wanted to be able to do some analysis, then you can download it. And clicking the button, you'll see it exports. It says email queued, and it's basically you'll get an email once the search has been downloaded and you can go to that link. It is a CSV file. It looks a little different than the old download looked. You can easily save it. I recommend that you download it as Excel and then save that Excel. When you're going to save the Excel file, it gives you an option of saving it as a CSV file or as an Excel workbook. I always save it as an Excel workbook so that I can go in and be able to manipulate it and add different information, or not add different information, but sort it different ways. Sometimes I'll change a view on something like that, and it's easier to work with in the Excel version. So that's downloading. So we went through sorting, results, customizing, saving the searches, queuing email. Let's see, let's switch another product. So I'm going to clear filters again, and this will again knock us out of that search, and it should populate with all of the results. Yep, 200. Oh, looks like they added a couple in the meantime. So we'll search. I'm going to do one more search here, and then we can maybe take some time to look at some. Oh, I want to walk through the filters on the side. So let's do this one a little differently. So rather than typing in a keyword search here, you can type in a keyword, but let's go through and filter some results. So say I wanted to look for, let's see, so manufacturer. Actually, I'm going to start with category. So here it gives you that flyout window, and I want to look for high bays. So indoor luminaires, click high bays, and you can see, that's weird, shouldn't be populating that. We can go refine this in the primary use designations. Let's see what it says. I don't think it actually selected that, so. Indoor luminaires, okay. All right, we'll just go with high base for now. And maybe we want some tested criteria. So this would mean we only get products back that are parent products. Let's go with light output. That's an easy one to search for. We'll go from 10,000 to 12,000. So high bays that are just 10,000 to 12,000 lumens. And you can see that it adjusted the wattages a bit based on that criteria. So let's see what it updates. I'm going to click out of this. So we've saved that, and it's going to think about it and update. So we are down to 917. Again, those were 10,000 to 12,000 lumen high bays. Now maybe I only want to look at a certain manufacturer. Again, it says no results to display because there's nothing, I haven't entered anything here yet. So I'm just going to put in, this is going to show up, you know, it started searching for everything that had anything in there. So then it's added this one. I'm going to go back. Let's see how that's changed. So now we're down to only 4. So this particular manufacturer has 4 products, parent products that have that information on there. So here I put reported efficacy. These are our criteria that we added before with customized view. Those remained. So those you can still see and compare. And with only 4 results, you can slide over to easily be able to see these. So you've got 4 different products. They all have different efficacies. There's several different color temperatures. And again, you can sort these if you wanted to be able to sort them in a certain way. If I just want to see the tile for this one, then we can do that. And maybe I want to look at the specific information, see when it was qualified, see what the reported data is, or maybe I'm interested in family members for that. And it'll show the child products for this specific product. I'm going to go back up and clear those filters again, and we can run one more just to kind of demonstrate those filter options. I do want to, let's see. Let's go with outdoor this time. How about outdoor low output? How many results does that bring us to? 27,000. Let's see if there's, maybe we're only interested in premium classification products. Again, that's going to refine our results down to only 2,100. And maybe I have a specific primary use designation that I'm interested in. Should only show maybe parking. Let's see what we got. So I popped it back up a little bit. All right, so if we wanted to, again, go in and maybe this time we'll look at the reported. Again, this is the flyout menu with the slider bars, and you can adjust those. These should be adjusted based on the criteria that we've already searched for. I'm going to refine this a little bit, and let's make that a smaller range. And maybe I'm only interested in products that are a certain color temperature. You can see how it adjusts on the slider bars, and it would adjust any other slider bars around. We'll save that. See what we get. Down to 600. Still a lot of products, but maybe we want to download the results for those, and I can do some analysis or review what the products are and do some comparisons. So I'm going to clear the filters again, take us back, and want to make sure I run through pretty much all the items that we wanted to demonstrate. So we can open it up for questions now. Let's see. Fritzy or Andrea, did you have any questions flagged for us to answer?
Yeah, I've had a few come in. First one I can answer is, how long will the old application portal be required before a single login is possible? So we're looking to integrate those two systems in March or April of this year. So we will be receiving communication from us shortly about what the process is going to be for merging those two accounts. We also have a few questions about how to, if the QPL search will be able to filter so that you can see whether a product will be delisted with the upcoming 4.0, 4.1 delisting in April. So Liesl, do you want to address that?
Sure. So right now we're working with our developer to be able to show that. There were, for manufacturers, you should have received actually 3 communications last year in the fall with the status of your products as compared to the upcoming 4.0. And if there were products that were going to fail to meet the new efficacy levels or any of the new criteria, then that notification had an Excel spreadsheet with all of the products listed and an indication of what the status of that product would be when 4.0 goes into effect on April 1st. So those notifications went out last fall, and there was another one that went out actually on Monday. So any manufacturer should have received those communications with information on where their products stand in relation to 4.0. So on the list, for us to be able to search and sort that, we are working with the developer right now to make it easier. At this point, what it's displaying is the technical requirements version that it was originally qualified under. That will be changing, and it will be updated to reflect the version that it is qualified to. So if you have a product that maybe was qualified under 3.1 last year, but it actually meets 4.0, that status will get updated to show that the TRT version is 4.0 or 4.1 if it was, if that's what's in effect at the time. So that indicator, we're working with our developers to make that capable to be able to search by that and for that to display. So right now that's not available, but the list that you received via email would have all of that information on there. It would tell you what status it was. If it was going to fail, it's clearly listed with red indicating that that product would fail. In some cases, it would list a specific reason why if it was other than the efficacy. So hopefully that helps. Right now, it's not really showing it, but yeah, that's, I guess the products, there was a question also, I think, about why would products get delisted. Typically, in this situation, it would be the change to the higher efficacy So products that were qualified under earlier versions where the efficacy requirements were lower may not meet the higher efficacy requirements. And again, you would have received a communication to indicate where your products fall in relation to 4.0.
Thanks, Lisa. Another question is, when you download a search, does it provide a timestamp? So based on the download process that Lisa was describing, there won't be a timestamp within the actual CSV file, but you will be able to see at what time you received that download through your email program, just from what time the email came in. And there is a timestamp when you save a search. So Liesl showed the list of saved searches within her account dashboard. You'll be able to see at what point that search was saved, and then if you update it, it will update the timestamp to show at what point, the last point that that search was updated.
I'd say a quick tip if you're looking at sharing the list and you want to have a timestamp on it would be to put that, I guess you could put it on there. It's not going to be necessarily reliable as far as proof of something as of a given date. You could print the screen or the tile for that product, but the printout, the download won't have that on it.
Right. We have a question where you go to submit a product from the new website. Liesl, maybe you can walk through live, clicking through to where you can get to the application portal. I think you're going to have to log out to be able to see that screen. So Liesl's on the My Account page here. As you can see, there's a button that says Access and Submit QPL Applications. So if you click that button, it will take you.
My microphone was on mute. So this is the login page for manufacturers here. And it takes you right in there. And this works exactly the same as the old site. So, and that was just from clicking on this button on the sign-in page. But again, to go to the old, it's down here in the lower left-hand corner. To use the new site is up here at the top. Okay. Do we have any? And if we had a whole lot of other questions, if you have questions, please feel free to type them into the question pane, and we can continue to answer questions. We've got about 5 minutes left on this webinar. So maybe from that website, where do I go to submit a product? So from this, I think we showed from this website where you would go to submit a product. The instructions are on the new website, but this was where you would go to log in or create an account. If you don't have an account, you would request a manufacturer account in order to be able to set up an account to submit an application using the old system. If you have questions about that process, you can contact applications@designlights.org. Any additional, without logging in, I can't really walk through any more of that, but they can certainly answer those questions if you have specific questions about submitting an application. All of the instructions do show up on the new website as far as what the requirements are for single product applications, family grouping, private label, and updates. Those all show up. Application, there was a question in there about application fees. This information is on the front-facing page of the website, so all the information is there. I will say that it varies a lot depending on how many products are being submitted, what type of products are being submitted, how the application, there's a number of different types of applications that can be submitted. So to the question where people were asking, what's the application for fee, that varies depending on the type that's being submitted.
I think we'll stay on the line for one more minute in case there are any final questions. If you have questions following the webinar, you can email info@designlights.org and we will get back to you with an answer. And we will also follow up with some other questions that we received through this webinar through this email address as well.
And as Andrea mentioned, this webinar with the recording will be posted on the website on that front page that I think I showed. So let's see. Oh, DLC page. There we go. So you'll be able to scroll down and DLC webinars will show up. Instead of upcoming webinar, it will show more information, and you can download the information from there, or you can view the webinar from there. Right now it just says register. In the future it will have the links to the presentations.
All right, so we are at the end of the webinar. Thank you everyone for joining us. Again, you can submit any final additional questions at info@designlights.org, and have a good rest of your Thursday.